Uh, Abstract brainwaves, game genie in the beanie. We ain't on the same stage, leveled up. The epitome of technique, can't survive in my current thought.
Other yellow hat guy here, back with another video. And as promised, I was going to unbox an item for you guys. And this is the 8-bit DOE adapter here. It's the Gbros adapter. And what this is going to do is allow you to play with your Nintendo 64 controller or a classic controller or NES controller, for the NES Classic, excuse me, those types of controllers on either your Switch or your PC. I balled up a fist because my PC is over here. PC is currently having some issues, so probably not going to be able to test it for that at this moment. So for those of you wondering, hey, you haven't streamed anything or rendered any content, any videos, that's why, but that's going to be a brief thing. Within 48 hours, that's all going to be resolved. So moving back to this topic here, I got this at SEGE, relatively shortly ago. And I got this from a fellow YouTuber, and he had a table where he was selling off some HyperCin and third-party, accessories for devices, and one of which was this. And I was really interested in this because I thought it was something else, but lo and behold, it does what I told you. So the caveat here is this thing does use batteries. They gave you an 8-bit DOE like bracelet thing here, like a Velcro thing. I'm not sure what that's for. We're gonna, I guess, find out right now. If you want to look at it, here's one end that has the NES Classic port, and then the other end which has the Nintendo 64 controller port. And essentially this thing takes batteries. I believe it has some in here. I don't know if these are any good or not, but it does take batteries, so that is a caveat there for some of you who are like, oh, how does this thing work? There, it does take batteries. So there should be an instruction manual in here. I actually don't see one. So there is that. There is not an instruction manual in here. There should have been. This might be used. But what you see on the other side is some information I left off. Wired Gamecube controller works here. Wired NES Classic controller. Wired SNES Classic controller. And wired Wii Classic controller. So yeah, that did look suspicious to me. I was like, well, we've got an N64 controller here. That is not going to fit in here. So I said it wrong. So if you saw my Sedge Hall video, this was incorrect. This is what the gentleman told me. That doesn't go in there. We need an actual GameCube controller that works here. But fortunately, I do have a classic controller here. And these classic controllers I do use on my Wii U still, and occasionally on my Wii. But what would be dope is to play some older, Mario games if I'm playing the, Nintendo Online or Super NES Online. So just use this instead. So I'm guessing how this works is you've got a port here, and that's supposed to plug directly into your Switch one way or another. So what we'll do is we'll follow up when I get... I'm imagining this takes an Android A to... let's say Android. I'm imagining it takes a USB A to like C type converter for this to go into your Switch and play that way. That's what I'm thinking. But before we get into that, it does have these buttons here that show you that's clearly GameCube. I don't know why that blew my mind that it wasn't. And this looks like it's for Switch. Now I'm not sure what the red and the star buttons mean because, well, there was no manual there, but we'll figure it out. So what I'm gonna do is cut here, probably get a GameCube controller, maybe not, maybe just test this one out, but show how it's actually working on the Nintendo Switch itself. So hang tight. Okay, so we're back. So I've got my Switch out here, and I've got Street Fighter Anniversary Collection in. probably not going to play that game. I wanted to try the NES Classic, but before we can do anything, we've got to pair this thing up. So I did some research. Unfortunately, we did not get the included cable there. There's a Android port there, and I thought maybe this, connects to the Switch, but it's supposed to do this wirelessly. That's the point. No wires. However, you would use that to connect to your PC, because while it connects to the Switch wirelessly, I don't think it connects to the PC wirelessly. Evidently, from the research I found, you can connect these both at the same time, but it's going to preference this one over the actual Gamecube controller. So while this would be great for Smash Bros. To play, by now we already have, knockoff third-party controllers that are, the same price I paid for this. I'm not sure of retail. It was $20, but I paid $20 from this guy at the SEGE convention. Look at that video if you want his information, if I don't have it included somewhere in the description. That being said, you may be turned off by the batteries. I am a little bit, but for the fact that I only use these for the Wii and they're just lying around, this supersedes me buying any kind of Nintendo branded controllers for the Nintendo Online. So how do you power this on? I had to do some research again, like I said. Evidently this is for the Switch, and then you have this. This is actually the sync button. This X button is what it's looking like. You cannot turn your Switch on with this thing, so that's a slight turn off for me, because again, while this controller can't turn on the Switch either, there are other controllers that I've gotten that can turn the Switch on once paired. So, I don't know. This came out when Super Smash Bros. Ultimate came out, so that was a while ago, and I guess those other controllers would have been way more expensive or didn't exist then, but, they should have had a revision. At this point, there should be no need for batteries. You look at this here, and it's like, why does this just not recharge? That should just recharge the whole thing. You would not know there were batteries there unless somebody told you. I was just too excited to have something like this, to use controllers like this that don't get much love, that I just ignored that when making this purchase. But hey, it makes good video content, right? At least I hope. Maybe it won't, but it's something unique in my collection. So let's actually get into it. So I've got it. I'm going to set it on Switch here. I'm assuming you turn it to the right to turn it. And then I'm going to hit this button. These button here, I think one of them is to go to the home menu, and the other one is to capture a picture. They're not really accurate here, but I'm imagining this is for like home and this is for capturing a screenshot, but we'll see in a second. So what I'm going to do is hit this button, because it looks like these are already paired. So I'm not sure if there's like a reset module, because the gentleman may have had it already paired to his Switch. So what we may have to do here is go to controllers and then find controllers. We might have to do something like that, because it should show up as a Pro controller. So there, I've hit the sync button, and none of these controllers are, this controller isn't doing anything yet. So it looks like to the left, do I hold the sync button? Okay, now it's flashing rapidly. You see that there. Let's go back. Pair new controllers. No, that ain't it. Let's actually look at that again. Close this screen, change grip order. So let's do that. And then I'm guessing you just hold L and R. So it is flashing rapidly. Oh, there it is. We did it. We did it. So that is how you do it. So now we're just going to push A because we're ready. Back out of all this. We're not going to play Street Fighter. We're going to go here. So this makes it wirelessly. This is awesome. And now you see it's got a solid light there. So I guess left is for on, right is for off. And what we're going to do here is hit this and see what it does. Okay, so the green button is actually the capture, and the red button is to go home. Because these controllers, while this does have a home button here, your GameCube controller, you know, it does not have a home button. Let's try that again. Let's go back to Nintendo Switch Online, which really isn't what we're trying to do. We're actually trying to go into the actual NES library and not that. You would think that instead of just explaining this down there at the bottom, they'd have a shortcut at the bottom to let you go straight into all of that. But let's try the home button here. So my home button does work there, but again, if you had a GameCube controller that does not have it, you have an option. I can't take screenshots here, but I can just simply tap that and do that there. So that's cool. So what we're going to have to actually do is go, well, you know what? I mean, I was going to say, I have Street Fighter right there. Why not just, you know, check that out? But we'll bite the bullet here and go. You'll see my library of games. We're going to go into the Super Nintendo here to start it up. Oh, gosh. Let's just start for the sake of the video. I'll download that stuff later. Not super important. I'm not sure what games they have available, but yeah, did not include the little USB cords for PC, but I can easily get a hold of one of those, and a longer one at that. It would just been nice to have known, hey, that was actually missing, you're going to need it, but you know, he probably didn't think about it or forgot. So let's jump into Super Mario All-Stars. And there it is. This is cool for what it was, for what it is. So you see the you see my, I don't know if you can see it back here, but I have my N64 controller because, like I said, I thought that was what you would use, but it's not really. I shouldn't say not really. You cannot use it for that. You can only use this. But you know, I could use this to play Mario 64 on my PC as well. So there is something. So let's actually. I don't believe this has Mario World, which is what I was really looking to play. So we'll just check this out. So again, it is still lit up. It stays solid when in use. The thing that scares me is if the batteries go bad and you're playing, does it flash out? Does it just turn red? I mean, what does it do to let you know that, you know, it's time to change these batteries? I was really excited about the N64 part of it because, like I said in my video, or at least said to the gentleman that, hey, a way to use my N64 controller for something other than N64 would be sweet. Now, I know 8-Bit Dough, or at least Hyperkin, one of them, they make like a N64 type controller that you can use for PC. It's just that having something like this would have absolved me from doing either one of those. And yes, I screwed up the shell, or is there another? Was there another? Thought like maybe. Oh, yep, another turtle does show up. I do remember that. So there you go. This is pretty sweet for what it is. I can sit on the couch now and utilize this. I'm not sure how that would work with, you know, any of these other devices that have it. Again, it tells you here that the compatibility is for wired GameCube controller, wired NES Classic controller, which I have 2 of those, so that's sweet, and then wired SNES Classic controller. It'd be nice if there was like a hub, and then you just put like 2 of these, you know, into the hub. Like I put the hub, excuse me, here, right in here, and then able to have 2 wireless controllers that way. That would be interesting, but I'm not sure if something like that is a thing. So yeah, this was pretty neat. Like I said, I paid 20 bucks. I'm not sure what the retail price is currently or what it was at the time, but I'm imagining it may have been more than 20 bucks. You know, I don't even know what you use this for. Somehow you're supposed to strap this up and, you know, lock it in and Velcro it to something. I just have no idea what this was included for. Some kind of wrist strap. There's nothing on here that indicates that you would use this for anything at all. There's nowhere on here. There's no loop or hole that you stick that in. So, but anyway, thank you guys for watching. This went on longer than I thought, but I was glad that I was able to make sense of all this, because without an instruction manual, just like, what are all these buttons? That clearly looks like GameCube, but no, that's just by design. It's GameCube looking buttons, but they all mean different things. X is actually a sync button. It'd be nice if it just said, hey, sync. It'd been nice, you know. S clearly meant switch, but we do know that we can take a screenshot here like we just did, and that this takes us home. So thank you for watching. I enjoyed making this. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. If I don't, remember, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Other Yellow Hat Guy is out. Captain Sensation!